record. Hey, welcome to For the Story, the podcast with the biggest penis, and if you argue, you're a fucking pussy. My name's Avery.
And I'm Ash. This week, we saw Detective Pikachu again.
Again, we just did it. We just watched it. It's not even out on VOD yet, but, you know, as movie podcasters, we get a... special access.
Yeah, and by special access, I mean Avery and I put on ski masks and robbed a local movie theater. They're like, yeah, we were going to throw it out anyway. You don't have to hold guns up to our heads. And we're like, no, give us the fucking movie. They're like, it wasn't that good. And we're like, I don't care.
It's the fucking movie.
I don't fucking care.
Oh my God. No, we didn't watch Detective Pikachu again. We did see something, though. Mm-hmm. We did see Fast and Furious presents, Disney presents, Marvel's The Avengers, Hobbs and Shaw.
That was awesome, dude. That was freaking awesome.
So we did see Hobbs and Shaw. We did it. It's. I don't know if it's technically a Fast and the Furious movie. I almost said a For the Story movie, by the way. I just want you to know that almost came out of my mouth. So, unfortunately, this movie...
Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Marvel's Avengers, Hobbs and Shaw. Unfortunately, we didn't see the ninth Fast and the Furious movie, also known as The Fast and the F9est.
I still think Fast and the Finest is pretty good. Where they make
Fast and the Finest is pretty good, but Fast and the F9est.
But you can see like
even better.
They do the fine, but they make like the F have like an extra line, like it's a clock, but it's like a different color, and so it's like.
But it's also a 9.
Yeah, so it's like the F9est, but that's how they would they'd say it, Fast and the Finest.
I've been making that joke since the 8th movie came out because it was like the Fast and the Faded or whatever.
The Fate of the Furious.
Yeah, it was close. And so it's like the next one's going to be the Fast and the F9est. Like, there's nothing else that they could do except for that. Like, that would be so great. Unfortunately, no, it's instead Hobbs and Shaw. I think we talked about this a little bit last week, but I think like they're not. Are they going to not make any more? Is that the idea?
Because production, and it's right now got the title Fast and Furious 9. So I don't think they've come up or released the title.
Man, if they call it the Fast and the F9est, no one will ever believe me that I've been calling that for years.
I'm pretty sure there are earlier podcasts where you've guessed it. Yeah, it's coming out in 2020.
Yeah, I've been making that joke about the Fast and the F9est since we started this podcast, probably before.
Possibly before.
We have a digital record of this happening. So if it comes out and it's the Fast and the F9est, I want you all to know that I've been calling it.
Yeah,
but it's like a good title. It's like stupid. Money. It's just stupid enough. We should. God damn it. Yeah,
Your
exactly.
Honor, I want you to listen to this podcast
that I produced that was released August 2017, where I say Fast and the F9est.
I'd like to put this podcast on the record. I'd like to call
I think we're already on the record, man.
I'd like to call to the stand the podcast episode we recorded in August of 2019.
Did he or did he not say the Fast and the F9est? Answer me!
I don't know.
Objection!
Leading the witness.
God.
Yeah, but this is a Fast and the Furious movie, but it's not the only movie we watched. And you did, I didn't talk about movies we watched last week when I was with Craig, so we have some stuff to catch up on. What have you been watching,
I think
Avery?
we do. Dude, okay, I'm going to come forward. It's already Halloween in the Avery Sid household. It is the beginning of August. This is when the fall Halloween season starts for me. Halloween is my favorite time of the year. I love the fall. I love horror movies. Combine the two, 3 months of horror movies. And I started out simply, all right? I'm going back to the basics a little bit.
Okay.
I watched
The Human Centipede.
I watched A Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 2 just this past weekend. And I will say they're really dumb.
How do you manage to be so brave, Avery? That's my question.
I know. I'm sure the listeners are thinking the same thing. But no, I indeed watched. I keep wanting to call it Friday the 13th. I keep doing, but because the main character is Freddy, and I keep thinking like that FR noise, and I'm like Friday the 13th, Freddy. But no, I watched A Nightmare on Elm Street. I watched the first
Freddy
one.
and the Furious.
Oh my God, Fast and the Freddy.
The Fast and the
God.
Friday the 13th. That'll be the 13th movie.
The Friday and the Furious. So I've been thinking about it. I watched Nightmare on Elm Street. It's a pretty silly movie.
Dude, you gotta
like
watch
really
Dream
silly.
Warriors again, because that is the best.
I haven't
one.
seen Dream Warriors at all, ever. And I'm like going to. So I watched the first two because I know about Dream Warriors, trust me. And I know that it's like dumb and it's ridiculous, and it's like it's not where that series like jumps the shark, because the whole shark has already been jumped at the gate.
No, it's
There's a part where like Freddy Freddy like cuts his fingers off. He's like, "Hey, look at this, bitch," and he just cuts him off. And like the girl Tina in the first one is just like, "Oh my God." It's like, it's so bad. He's just like, "Look at this," and then he cuts his fingers off and they squirt green ooze. It's so ridiculous. Like that movie's like worth a rewatch, because like it's very quaint. It has this like this like slight quality to it. It's just like they made this with like bubble gum and like paper clips, and it shows. But I watched that. The second one actually kind of surprised me because its concept was pretty fucking cool, man. So the idea behind the second one is that Freddy starts possessing this kid and makes him start murdering people for him. And I think that is like the most fun idea. I love the idea that he gets like possesses a kid rather than just kills people in their sleep. And so the second one, definitely actually like worth a watch. I suggest it. Dream Warriors is coming up this weekend.
Are you sure? Or do you not want to hold off until Halloween month and we can watch Dream Warriors together? I don't want to get in the way of you enjoying the series, but I will say I am a big Dream Warriors fan.
Oh man, maybe we should save it and watch it for the podcast.
Yeah, just skip right to
I don't know if
number
I can
5.
contain my tail. Maybe I'll just, that's what I'm saying. Maybe I'll just skip over it. I'll just go right to 4 and we'll watch. Like there's barely any continuity. I can't imagine it's going to make that much of a difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Nightmare on Elm Street stuff is something we should review because it's fun. It's silly. It's a dumb, good time. Yeah. And I love horror movies, so and that's like horror movie roots. Like that's like when like slasher movies were popular, so they were just making a whole bunch of dumb crap like that, and it shows. So yeah,
I mean, it still shows. We watched Hobbs and Shaw this week, Avery.
Dude, Hobbs and Shaw, man, we definitely saw it. We're gonna talk about it. Let's save it until after you tell us what movies you've watched this week, Ash.
Oh, buddy.
Oh boy.
Okay. Oh, The Boys. I started watching a new Amazon Prime series, The Boys. Have you heard about this show?
Everyone's talking about it. Yeah, everyone's talking about it. I know.
It's really
good.
good. Carl Urban's great in it. It's kind of got
Carl Urban too.
that-
Shit, I gotta fucking watch it now. Damn it.
Yeah, it's kind of got that Watchmen aesthetic where it's like, yeah, they're superheroes, but they're also like Aquaman is the spokesperson for SeaWorld. But
Like, of course,
and they're
right?
fucking hookers.
Yeah.
Like it's like that, and like shooting up. Like that's like it's a great dynamics of power TV show. Like, yeah, superheroes would be assholes because like they'd make so much money.
And they would have like personality problems, and they'd be sponsored. They wouldn't be altruistic.
No, not at all.
Like, I think Marvel presents a very altruistic view on superheroes.
Absolutely.
Which it just doesn't always like.
Yeah, it's
sometimes seeing the
nice.
flip side of that coin is really nice. That's why I think everybody really liked Deadpool so much. It's because he's like a pretty early example of like, what if superheroes just were kind of assholes? I think that's fun.
Yeah.
So,
and then I also saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the new Quentin Tarantino joint.
I haven't seen it yet. I've heard some good things though. What'd you think?
I thought it was fucking dumb.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It doesn't have any of the classic Quentin Tarantino stuff. All the action is shot super stupidly, and you can't see anything. They
Oh man, that's unfortunate. I wonder if like Brad Pitt and Leo like decided to like shoot their own stunts or anything, and
no,
maybe
it's not even their stuff.
They're old now.
It's not even their stuff. There's just certain scenes where they just completely like, I'm just gonna shake the camera like I'm a 5-year-old trying to film this.
Well, talking about shaky cam, we are talking about Hobbs and Shaw. I want you to understand. Like, we're about to launch into that review, but
no, I think it's shot worse than Hobbs and Shaw in the action. There is an entire thread of the movie where if you know anything about the history of Hollywood or Manson, you think it's going to go a certain way, and then it doesn't. And at the end, you're like, wait a minute, an hour of this 2-hour, 45-minute movie was not fucking necessary. It was all for like a fake out. That's like terrible. And then also,
you might be jumping into some spoilers. I'm just gonna let you know.
Oh, I know.
Before we go too much farther.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll leave it at that. And then also, Quentin Tarantino has developed a foot fetish, and there are like maybe 6 shots of Margot Robbie's feet for extended periods of time.
He's had a foot fetish.
Oh, he has?
That's been a thing.
Oh, it has?
It's a recurring thing.
Oh,
yeah. That's like actually like a thing that people have brought up in many other movies. It's in like Kill Bill. At least I'm pretty sure it's in Kill Bill.
It's so obvious in this movie. It's like, he'll like go across her sleeping in the bed, and it just hangs on her feet for like 2 seconds too long. But I will say,
it's interesting.
Best Leo I've seen is Leo acting inside of the movie. Not like his character, but his character acting.
Right.
Because he's an actor. Really, like, it's a good movie. It's just very the movie, and it's really long. The pacing's fine, but it is really long. And I just feel like at the end, the subversion of expectation ends up feeling kind of for naught, because you realize, I watched 2 hours, 45 minutes of movie, and the subversion of expectation like got rid of the need for a big portion of it.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay. Well, I mean, it's something that I know I'm going to end up seeing at some point, but I just haven't had a chance to yet.
Yeah.
I've had like multiple opportunities to go, and I mean, like we talked about it on the August picks episode. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I've been moving, and so it's just, I really wanted to go last week, and it was like there was just no time. And the time that I did have where I was able to relax, I was like, I'm going to spend this like chilling out rather than trying to meet all of these appointments with friends and stuff. And so I just decided to like dial it back.
Hell yeah, dude.
And but at some point, I'm glad I went to go see Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw was a dumb good time.
Yeah.
Right?
It was.
Like it just was. Yeah. And I think there's some like cons. I mean, like it kind of makes me feel bad because we're about to break this movie down, and we're probably going to say bad things about it. But I don't think this movie cares that it has bad things. It's like it knows it has bad things.
Yeah, they know who their audience is, and they were all in my theater, and it was a bunch of bald 42-year-olds with giant beer guts. Just literally,
that is perfect.
25 of them in my theater. I was like, Jesus Christ.
We had like. When I went, Sid and I went together because we like that kind of thing, and it was just a whole bunch of couples. It was like
weird.
First of all, I want to say we saw it at Alamo Drafthouse on South Lamar, and it was like the smallest theater that they have in the entire place.
Really?
It was tiny. Mm-hmm. And we were 2 of maybe 9 people.
That's crazy.
That were in the theater. Yeah, there was like nobody else in there. So we sat in the 3rd row, right? Mm-hmm. This theater only had 5 rows, but there was nobody sitting in front of us or in our row.
Jesus.
So more than half the theater was completely empty. The 2 back rows were like half filled. Like nobody went to see this. I don't know if it's the showtime. We did go on a Monday night. It could have something to do with it, but pretty surprising how like nobody really wanted to see this. I thought that this was gonna like be kind of a big thing. It seemed to be hyped up that way. I saw this trailer before every single movie last summer. Yeah. So or this summer so far.
I mean, I've been seeing it since April. Like shit.
Yeah, exactly. I think we saw like the first time we saw this trailer was when we went to go see Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah.
It was like something like that. It was like a long time ago. So they've been putting money into the marketing. So I was really surprised that nobody was there. I kind of have a feeling. I mean, like, I know you got some budget numbers, which we'll get into in a sec. But I'm kind of surprised that there weren't as many people there. But Speaking of budget numbers, Ash, do we do that first or our expectations? Who knows?
Let's get into the budget, baby. Throw it at me, baby.
This is the budget breakdown.
How budget breakdown?
That hurt.
Budget breakdown.
Oh, Christ. Oh, Jesus. Every time it comes, it's just like, ow.
I mean, have you listened to our show in headphones, Avery? It is ow.
It's loud.
It's so loud.
I know.
Destruction.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Christ. I'm going to have to dig that file up and drop it.
So, Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw came out on August 2nd with a production budget of $200 million. It was number one this past weekend, opening up with a worldwide total of $184.9 million. Not quite making back its production budget, but it has a huge production budget.
Yeah.
That's like bigger than most standalone Marvel movies.
How much was the budget again?
$200 million.
That's fucking huge.
It's fucking massive.
Yeah, that's really, really big.
Really,
I kind of see it.
Yeah, they had some really great action sequences, and I think they did a fair amount of their own stunts. But I think the most exciting thing that this movie achieved was it became 14th all time for adjusted top weekends in August ever.
Wow, that's actually pretty crazy.
8th non-adjusted.
14th, I mean, like, that's not insane, but like for like this random fast, like, it's not even a main series Fast and Furious movie. Although I kind of think it might be about to be a main series movie.
Yeah, I think that it was good enough that it definitely at least should be.
I think, yeah. I remember I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed any other Fast and the Furious movie. And I've seen like maybe 3 or 4 of them. And I thought, like, you know, a little too much penis talk. But anyway, we'll definitely talk about that, by the way.
That's going to be the last 30 minutes. I think that we should improvise our own tete-a-tete in the style of Hobbs and Shaw.
So, yeah, interesting. So what other movies were better for the 14th? You're better than the 14th in August openings. I'm really curious. Or are you going to ask me?
Well, I'm going to ask you because I have it pulled up, and that wouldn't be fair. Yeah, what do you think else has come out in August?
I'm trying to think to August last year.
I don't think any of these films came out last year.
Okay. Dude, it's just so hard when it comes down to like summer movies.
Give me 3.
You know,
Give me 3 guesses, and then I'll start helping you out.
I'm not totally certain, but I kind of feel like this came out in the summer. Is Hereditary in there?
Oh, God, no.
Okay, I can't remember. Do you remember what month Hereditary came out? That was a summer movie, I'm pretty sure.
I was sleeping with this girl, Selena. She took me to Hereditary, and we broke up right before the movie started. Was it a summer flick? You like how I measure time? It's a bad way.
That's a bad way to do
But also,
that.
I don't think Hereditary made a ton of money. It definitely didn't make more than the 64 domestic that it made, you know, in one weekend. That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Man. Oh my God. I always have to. I know you mentioned adjusted. I'm gonna bring up Star Wars. Just a shot in the dark because I literally have no idea.
There's no Star Wars. Let's get into some things. This movie,
give me some hints.
Features a smart cop and a martial artist, and there are 2 of them in the top 14.
Bad Boys 1 and 2.
No.
The Karate Kid 1 and 2.
Chris
I really
Tucker.
don't know. Chris Tucker. Oh my God. I don't know. You gotta tell me.
Rush Hour 2 and 3.
Fuck. I knew. I was just like, there's another Bad Boys. like it's the same idea, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Biopic about NWA.
Oh my God. Straight Outta Compton, right?
Straight Outta Compton came in at number 10.
Nice.
Vin Diesel movie, super stylized, red, white, and black were the major color themes.
Was it Chronicles of Riddick?
Triple X.
Triple X.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't call that super stylized, man. Have you watched Triple X recently? That's a pretty dumb. That's basically just a Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a style. Race car driver movie.
Fast and the Furious.
No. Race car driver movie.
Like Stock Car? The Grim Adventures of Ricky Bobby, or whatever it's called. What's the Will Ferrell one?
Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby is number 11.
Whatever. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's absolutely that. We got...
Oh, cool.
The sequel to a movie that could have caused a condition known as ant penis. That was too vague.
Fuck. And that means nothing. What the hell?
Eugene Levy's eyebrows are in this movie, which is a sequel to another movie.
Is it American Pie 2?
It sure is.
Oh my God. Why is that in there?
Ant penis was because he fucked the pie, and if you don't wash yourself properly, ants would be attracted to your penis.
Dude, that is so esoteric. You thought that was a hint? What the hell?
Ow, this water burns my flesh. Oh no, Mel Gibson is
Wizard of Oz
trying to murder me because I'm Jewish. Oh no. I don't know how else to. Oh no, news footage is in this movie briefly. People say it's scary.
Is it Cloverfield?
It's Signs.
Oh. Why'd you say something about being Jewish?
Because Mel Gibson is in
in there?
And he hates the Jews.
Okay.
And the last one I'll give you is if you give your significant other the Jesus Christ. If you burn your significant other, no.
They're coming for you.
If you give your significant other the choice of either they have to propose to you or you have to break up, that's called an
ultimatum.
Yes, and what movie has the word ultimatum in the title?
The Ultimatum.
The Bourne Ultimatum.
Oh.
I tried, guys.
If you said Matt Damon, it would have been way too easy.
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cool. There you go. That's the budget breakdown.
Suicide Squad was
Interesting.
number one August movie of all time.
Wow, really?
$141 million. I don't know.
I cannot believe that movie made so much money. That movie was horrible.
Honestly, I think it might have
Suicide
had
Squad
a
is bad.
stupider base IQ for the audience than Hobbs and Shaw, and that's saying something because this movie is.
I don't know. I feel like at this point with Fast and Furious movies, regardless of if they're Hobbs and Shaw canon or if they're like main series canon, I kind of get the impression that like people are starting to watch them as ironically as they probably should be, because I think if anybody takes the cheesy messages to heart in these movies, they're probably either emotionally deprived or kind of stupid.
Yeah, I think
one of the two.
Like, listen, somehow this movie brought out all 40 of the fat dudes in Los Angeles to the theater. Like,
oh, there's more, but there's like 40 more who are embarrassed to leave.
Yeah, or they went to a different theater.
Yeah,
they were on the east side of LA. But no, like I've legitimately never seen as many fat people in LA as I have in the screening of Hobbs and Shaw.
Are you implying that fat people are dumb, Ash?
No, I'm saying that these fat people are dumb. Just
oh, wow, shit, man.
Yeah,
brutal. I don't know, dude. It's just like I think like should we let's get into some expectations before we really start dropping some pros, because my expectations were actually pretty high for this movie. And I gotta be honest, I remember seeing the trailer and being like, hey man, that could be fucking fun.
Yeah.
Right? Like maybe they're gonna finally do it and go in a different like totally absurd direction and just like finally lean into the absolute absurdity of the things that happen in these movies. And they kind of did.
They kind of did. Sometimes they were very self-aware. Other times not so much. But I think in general they did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was expecting dumb stunts. I was expecting bad jokes, which I was not let down there. There were some bad jokes. I wasn't expecting all of the penis humor. That seemed a little, like, out of place. There was so much just, like, of Jason Statham and The Rock, like, looking at each other and, like, having a diss war that was, like, my penis is bigger than yours. And it was just, like dumb shit like that. Like, they talked about each other's cocks a lot. All I'm going to say is The Rock and Jason Statham are, like, 2019's couple. Like, they need to be together. Like, it was like the best romance movie of the year was Hobbs and Shaw, because they, like, even at the end, they figured out how to work together as a team. It was adorable.
And they told it right to the camera. They went, hey,
we need to work as a team.
Yeah, it was so bad, dude. Oh my God.
I was expecting some fun action scenes. I think that delivered there too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there was some shit like that I want to talk about in the cons as far as the action goes, because I think it's pretty clear to both of us that the reason this movie exists isn't necessarily because of the dialogue. It's because of the action scenes. Mm-hmm. Like, it took up a solid 70% of the movie was explosions and cars go boom.
And they did. And it was amazing.
And that's kind of what I wanted to see. I wasn't expecting the sagging second act, because this movie got real boring in the middle. But
absolutely.
Yeah. But I was expecting, this was a movie that needed to have 23 less minutes.
Ooh. Is that how many
23 less.
Okay. So it would have been an hour 53?
Yeah, an hour 53 would have been pretty sweet. Yeah. They could have cut out, like, pretty much the girl entirely. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she could have just not been
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, if this was just like a movie about Hobbs and Shaw, like, learning to work together as a team and respect each other and then fall in love. Yeah. And like form a domestic partnership. Yeah. I think that probably would have been a better movie. I think the girl, like, all of the romance shit, is fucking dumb.
She kept fucking cock blocking Shaw the whole movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he kept going like, I hate your stupid face, your perfect fucking body, The Rock. And it was just like, that's kind of how it went. The whole fucking movie. It was weird.
Yeah. And then they would talk about each other's penises. I'm telling you, Hobbs and Shaw are, like, that's like the power couple for 2019.
Yeah, I think that in about 3 months, J.K. Rowling's going to let everyone know that they were gay.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling is. Dude, I mean, like, I'm just saying, how much better of a movie would this be if Hobbs and Shaw were gay?
Yeah, and it just has to be implied that they fell in love. It doesn't even have to be overt. Because, like,
just like,
that way,
let it know,
people,
cut the girl out.
Don't figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, people who would be like, well, they're not cool anymore because they like dicks or whatever. It's just like they already like dicks. Yeah. Like, they've been talking about their dicks the entire movie. It's like they only tell each other about their dicks.
Yeah, they have no other real connection.
Yeah, and so it's like Hobbs and Shaw, like, wouldn't it have been cool if it was just alluded? Like, there's just a second at the end of the movie where they look into each other's eyes and they just nod. Like, that would have been fucking perfect. No girl in the movie at all, or like The Rock turns the girl away. And it's just kind of like, you know, like, oh, that would have been so good.
Or like they're debriefing the girl. The thing? Yeah, they just are debriefing the girl, and you can like faintly see in the background they're just making out, and like 1,000 YouTubers freak out about it. It'd be great.
I legitimately think that this movie would be so much better. Like, and I remember thinking it like towards, like, I don't know, maybe like the hour 30 mark, where I was just like, man, if it was just like Hobbs and Shaw were in a relationship, wouldn't this be awesome? Like, it's so romantic. Like, they're learning to work together. Like, they're like in a partnership, but it's like they're both like too manly to like be like in public and trying to like be sensitive to each other, and they learn how to like work together better as a team, and like they both have like The Rock's like adopted daughter. Like, I mean, man, I think that would legitimately be a better movie.
Yeah, like he takes him on a romantic vacation to Samoa. Like it works like you have to change the movie very little.
Yeah, like this really could have been a romance between Hobbs and Shaw, and I honestly think it would have been a better movie.
Yeah, and then you just make Idris Elba Shaw's
like an ex-boyfriend or something.
Exactly.
Oh my god,
perfect.
That would be so good. Like that's how Shaw knows him. Like that would have been so good. Yeah. Oh well. Hey, one can wish, but
one can give us a movie to direct.
Yeah, right? Like, oh my god, like it's just like it would be such a good like absurd like in a series that's known for its overt absurdity
and like hyper masculinity, just like
toxic masculinity. like to just like totally throw everything on its head and be like, yeah, the two manliest characters in the manliest series, yeah, they're in love. What do you think about that? Wouldn't that have been good?
Oh, do you hate love now, you asshole? Yeah.
Yeah, they fell in love. What, do you hate the Fast and the Furious? Like, which is harder to admit? You know, like
I don't hate the Fast and the Furious. No, I love this movie. Okay.
I like the explosions and like I just don't like the gay shit. It's like, you fucking troglodyte. Like, it would have been so much better. But oh well. I do want to talk about some pros. I think although honestly the underlying romance between Hobbs and Shaw, definitely a pro. But like
the biggest pro, arguably.
Yeah, it's just like so perfect. But what am I thinking here? Oh, The Rock and Jason Statham fighting Idris Elba in those slow-mo scenes. Pretty fucking cool.
Oh, the way they hit it and the water came off his face that certain way, it looked so cool.
Oh yeah. It was so like such a standout from so many of the other like wide shots that they got during a lot of the action scenes when like the camera was just shaking around and you couldn't see anything. But then at the end of the movie, like there's another one earlier in the movie too, where like you see like the slow-mo and you see like Idris Elba's targeting computer or whatever, and it like locks on, like you see it's just like swing. So like it says all these numbers and shit. And then it's just like totally like out of nowhere, it looks so much better than anything else in the movie. And I thought like, I kind of felt like that's where a lot of like the effects budget went to, because probably a lot of that was done with like computer animation, but it looked fucking cool.
Yeah, because you can't get that, especially that water effect. I think that was a huge like pro of that scene specifically, and like you can't get that unless you're fucking hitting the guy. So they must have CGI'd it.
Yeah, that, or like, I don't know, some of it could have been like some, I don't know what like The Rock or anybody, I don't know what they do as far as like their own stunts, or Idris Elba for that matter, but I kind of have,
I'm pretty sure he's not getting like neck whiplash from The Rock.
Yeah, probably not.
That's probably
like,
not the stunts he does.
Yeah, it's like it was kind of cool, and it kind of felt like a lot of the movie really built up to that, because Idris Elba fucking kicks their ass at the beginning of the movie, and it's awesome. Really cool. And it's like, you know, this like showdown is coming up, and it finally happens. It's actually like satisfying. It's like a good part of the narrative, and I thought that was cool. And like they kind of have arcs. Our characters, like the problem with Hobbs and Shaw is that they're both unstoppable.
And
they're both the coolest people ever. Yeah. They're the same character. You're totally right. And they have no flaws.
No.
Just none. Just no flaws. Like, they're both the smartest, the coolest, the manliest, biggest dickinest dudes that ever existed.
I mean, I don't know. There was one character with a bigger dick in this movie, and that was Kevin Hart.
I kind of liked Kevin Hart.
Yeah, no, Kevin Hart was great.
I really liked Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds just was Deadpool in this movie.
Well, you know what? The director of this movie directed John Wick and Deadpool 1 and 2.
Makes a lot of sense. That's probably why Ryan Reynolds was in it at all.
Yeah, but
probably likes working with the director.
You said before the movie, this is just going to be Fast and the Furious, but with Pokemon. And I'm like, you are surprisingly right. You don't realize it yet.
Okay, what's your point there? Because I said that because I was kind of like, okay, so at Elmo Draft House, we've talked about this a couple times before, but they'll do these like recaps of like a series before you go in and watch like an extended sequel, like they always do before an Avengers movie or something along those lines. In this one, they did that and they explained like who's Hobbs and who's Shaw and why are they working together and what happened. And I realized that all of the characters in the Fast and Furious thing are all they're this, and then they have one other thing that they do. Hobbs and Shaw are kind of the exception because they kind of just both do everything great because they're the coolest, manliest people ever, whatever. And it's like kind of lame in that way. But I was just like, man, like if I had a Pokemon team, I'd probably pick like Deadpool. I would pick Hobbs, you know? And I like started thinking through it and I was just like, oh my God, these are just like, they all have like Hobbs is big and he's strong, you know? And then Shaw is smart and he's
got big form. Like, okay, the funny thing
right.
is, whenever you read like a Men's Health article about someone, it's like they have like the best of these muscles. And every time they say that what's his face, British fucking Jason Statham, his thing is he has the best forearms. And in this movie, he never has anything but rolled up sleeves. It's
I don't know. Does he have dope forearms? I don't remember noticing it.
He's not like a physical specimen like The Rock, especially when you put him next to The Rock. And so they're like, man, but like his forearms are okay. And we're gonna like
The Rock looks ridiculous.
He's so terrifying.
I had no, like, especially, I just Googled Jason Statham forearms, by the way. I'm not seeing anything, like, super unique.
Yeah.
Does he have dope forearms? Like, does he? I can't even tell. I guess he does.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's more ripped than me, whatever. But, like, yeah, the thing about The Rock, though, man, is that he's just so... like, just so ridiculous. Like, he just looks...
fucking freak, dude.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
And like, he's not only... is he just, like, really muscular, he's just enormous.
What is he, 6'4"?
Is he 6'4"? God damn, I'm a little person.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, he's 6'4".
6'4".
Yeah.
And he's huge. He probably weighs, what do you think, like 320 pounds?
Yeah, I'd estimate around 320, 325.
The Rock weight. I'm finding out. Just so 260. That's actually less than I thought.
That's actually not that heavy.
Yeah, I think Dave Bautista weighs almost 300.
Dave Bautista's also a fucking freak. All these
he's a freak.
out fucking monsters.
Well, they are. They're roided out. But it's kind of cool because, like, it's not like they're competing at anything. No. So it's just like they're just doing what they want with their life, you know?
They're competing to see who can force the director and cinematographer to use the widest lens.
Right? I'm not surprised there wasn't a scene where The Rock flexes and, like, the screen, like, bows out because he flexes the lens.
Or the camera lens shatters because he flexed.
He flexes a cast off. He flexes a helicopter down to the ground.
Let's just seen it. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But flexes so hard that the lens breaks, man.
That's like fourth wall breaking, and it's great.
I think that's the direction that these Fast and Furious movies need to take. They need to go full stupid, man. He needs to be flexing lenses. He needs to be like... he flexes a cast off in one of the movies. Like, what's next? You know?
Well, now he's done the haka, which I have some cons to talk about that. But
me too.
Couple more fucking pros. Idris Elba's motorcycle
is the main character of the movie.
Yeah, and has
so cool.
The most dynamic arc of anyone. By that I mean it kind of it's I don't know, it's like a fucking droid from Star Wars.
It's so cool.
It's so
and it just like shows up and it's just like help.
Yeah,
you know, like it might as well have had a voice.
Yeah,
you know?
And when he takes it underneath those trucks that are passing each other, that shot is unreal. That looked so cool.
It really did. It actually like legitimately looked cool. I remember seeing it in the trailer and being like, oh my God, is this? But then I saw it like in the theater and like given like the scene, like the chase scene that was going on, pretty fucking compelling.
Yeah.
And I like that like Idris Elba's character, like he loses and he throws his helmet on the ground because he's all pissed. I was like, wow. That was fucking cool. Yeah.
I mean, and you know me, I don't like car chases at all. And I was kind of compelled by this one generally. And this movie used a lot of fucking slow-mo and it didn't fuck with it in a way. Yeah. I think they did that really well.
Yeah, I think like Idris Elba as a villain in this. So basically the idea with Idris Elba is that he works for this company and Jason Statham killed him at one point, and then the company brought him back to life because he's like, I don't know, the best or whatever, you know how it is. And
but they enhanced him.
But they enhanced him, so they put all this like shit on his spine that's like really cool. And he is like the coolest villain possible.
He's
for
like a
Fast and
fucking
Furious movie.
sweet Bond villain.
It is like almost impossible to believe that this exists in the same continuity as the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, watch Fast and Furious 1, then watch Hobbs and Shaw, and you're going to be
watch Fast and Furious 2 when the I forget what the character's name is, but he's like ejecto-cedo, cuz it's like
the dialogue
same
hasn't
story.
gotten better, but
yeah. But he was so cool. The only problem that I saw with Idris Elba and his character was that his powers were kind of undefined. Like he just was really strong and he was bulletproof, which is good enough for the movie. It was good enough.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, like, they still punched him to death.
Yeah. I like really want to see more from this, and I'm so concerned that they're not going to continue this whole like, I forget what the name of the company was, but it was like Evil Incorporated or something.
Yeah.
Like they're totally just gonna drop that shit. Like, and
I hope
just
not,
there's gonna be a new villain.
Because like
it does sound like it should be like part of the next part of the continuity, right? Like it should continue.
This one was
it's
like
compelling.
Shaw's guy. The next one's going to be The Rock's guy.
Yeah. Or something like that. Maybe it'll like, you know, maybe it'll line up like that. I loved the idea, even though it kind of ended up being a weak point because like the girl in this movie was just probably the weakest part of the movie. Yeah. But like, not that sounded sexist, but like,
I mean, she had her moments, but she wasn't that cool. It was a dumb retelling of the damsel in distress thing. She's like, yeah, but she can karate chop someone. And I'm like, yeah, but if she had taken down the fucking Rock, then she actually would have been a badass, you know?
See, that would have been cool, but dude, in a movie like this with like the fan base it has, if a girl beat up the Rock,
I would love to drink their tears.
I would like it, and I would also see, but we're also like talking about how if Hobbs and Shaw were gay, this movie would have been better. So we're not typical fans. Yeah, we're breaking this down. We're like, no, this movie could have been better if they were gay, if the girl beat up the Rock, but it would have been better. It just would have been better. It would have been fucking cool, and also like giving the two male leads weaknesses was so necessary, and it just didn't happen. They were just both the two coolest guys ever, and they were both the strongest and the best at karate or what the fuck ever.
Yeah, like the message given in this movie was like, it's okay to say sorry sometimes, even if you didn't do anything wrong. Like,
there was no message in this movie.
We're together, Avery.
It was, if you're the biggest, most hulking representation of the Incredible Hulk in reality, you can flex a helicopter to the ground because your brothers play barrel of monkeys on a treacherous path on the island of Samoa. That was the message in this movie. I want to go to
Samoa, though. Samoa looked fucking
It did look
dope.
pretty beautiful.
I want to go.
Yeah.
Do you want to record our next episode there?
Maybe not our next one, but I would totally be down to go to Samoa and record an episode in Samoa. I think we don't need passports to go there. We could just go.
Yeah, it's American Samoa.
Yeah.
We own it. We give it no representation, but we own it.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. That's like that's not good. It needs to just be a state. Where is American Samoa
can
and
you
then
imagine
Samoa. Interesting. Okay. No.
The fucking representative from Samoa just fucking just tackles Chuck Schumer full on. They play a rugby game every year on the White House lawn. Like, dope. Yeah. So, generally, I thought this movie had a pretty good plot for what it was, but the big issue though was the haka, a tribal dance of war, and they did it in this movie kind of, but it was utter fucking disrespect because they had the words in English underneath in fucking yellow Comic Sans subtitles.
Yeah. It's a very interesting thing. So I stuck around for the credits for a specific reason. I was extremely curious who the executive producer on this movie was. I want you to guess who it was.
Michael Bay.
No.
Oh.
It was The Rock himself.
Oh.
So
He wanted that?
The Rock, Jason Statham was credited as the second executive producer. So these guys made this movie on their own.
Maybe
basically.
they are just in love. Not even.
I don't know. It's I love the idea of The Rock.
That's a fucking power couple.
Yeah, right there. Man, they're flexing hearts. They're breaking hearts by flexing them or something. I don't know. There's a joke there. Anyway, but all I can think is that The Rock was we're gonna do a scene on Samoa, and it's gonna happen, and I'll give you guys $100 million if the third act or the fourth act of this movie is us doing the haka. And that's pretty much what happened, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the impression that I got, that he had some dip in there, he was dipping his hand in and look, I like this idea, or somebody else came up with it and he was I like this idea, we're gonna do it, here's $100 million or something along the, you know what I mean? I don't think that scene would have been in that movie if The Rock wasn't an executive producer,
Which is a bummer because it was in theory that was going to be really cool.
It wasn't stupid. I don't think it was dumb. It was poorly. It was better executed than I expected.
That's fair. I expected them to actually do the full haka.
Yeah, and I there was a point where I was sitting there, and this is definitely a con, and I was watching this, and I was seeing, because all the music cuts out and it zooms in on The Rock, and he says all these Samoan lines and stuff with like you said, the Comic Sans English text underneath, and I felt embarrassed.
Really? It's so badass, and that's why I hate that part, is because it is the most badass fucking war dance that is currently known, and they made it kind of cringy.
Yeah, it was kind of cringy. It came across as, I don't it's almost hard to call it pandering, but it seemed like it was pandering.
It was self-actualizing or something more
something like that, right? And from that moment that I saw that, I was honestly, from the trailer, because we both knew that this was going to be in the movie before we had gone to see it. I was guaranteed The Rock produced this. There is no reason why an American production company would put the haka in a movie like this, in a hyper masculine. I get it.
That is a hyper masculine.
I see why he wanted. I know. I understand that. It's just it just seemed like I am a white person, I wouldn't think to do that.
Oh, you gotta watch more rugby, my guy. Watching the fucking All Blacks do the haka and just basically going I'm gonna murder you to their opponent before the game starts. I'll send you a video. It's one of the most fucking badass things on the planet.
That sounds pretty
we had
cool.
some Samoan dudes in my high school, and they do the haka sometimes for certain events, dressed in ceremonial garb. It was fucking awesome, dude.
That is fucking cool. I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah, it's like it's super.
That's
it's basically
rad.
saying like, like look in my eyes. This is the last thing you're gonna fucking see. I'm gonna like kill you and eat you. Like it's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty rad. Why was it in this movie? It's like they could have done it and then not like totally made it like goofy by making jokes about like oh, so we're gonna fight with the family heirlooms, and it's just like they could have done it and like I like that they leveled the playing field, but the next scene after this in this movie that's like known for being absurd, or in this movie series that's known for being absurd, is like they literally like all of his brothers like line up and they play Barrel of Monkeys with like their tow trucks. It's
they try to make that as cool as the hockey. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they had a way
it's like
of
that's
shooting.
what Samoans do. They drive around like these self-built machines, and like Tito and like T-Bone and like whatever their names are. They like he had names for all of them and stuff, you know. It was like Esteban and Poblano and Tito and I don't know what I'm saying.
Like
that's
Jonah
that's fucked up.
Timo,
But like,
Timo and Mateo and
yeah. And it was just like okay, like cool, you know, like I like the idea that he's like kind of bringing to light that like Samoan culture is a thing. I think that's really
that's
cool.
the cool part. It's everything else about it where they're just like, and now they're in Hobbs and Shaw, and now they're in a Fast and Furious movie, and
in a main series. You know, when I put it in that light and I think about it, and it's just like that's kind of fucking cool because like American Samoans are Americans and they're poorly represented, and I do like that idea that it's just like now they're in a main series movie. They're in a $200 million movie, and like who knows if they're actually Samoans or not, but the idea is that they went to Samoa in like a big ass movie, which is pretty fucking cool on its own.
That is cool.
So
but I do think that there's definitely other hands in the coffer there that kind of like detracted from what could have been like very cool and kind of made it half-assed.
I think if the whole movie took place in Samoa, that would have been like they would have had more time to like really make it like a representation of the culture, or like do like at least the closest clone of a representation of the culture that they could have. But unfortunately, because it kind of felt like a different movie or like thrown in almost as an afterthought, it unfortunately kind of fell flat.
And it was kind of two-dimensional. Like they all lived in fucking like Magneto's compound from Dark Phoenix.
Right? They lived in like huts, and like they lived like in a body shop.
Yeah, like
from like the first Fast and Furious
movie. All of them, like there were so many like sheet metal buildings, which like that exists, but I think it like Samoa has a little more to it than that. It's kind of a narrow viewpoint.
It was a narrow viewpoint, and it kind of felt like it was pandering to the average American's view of what people in Samoa are actually like. And not that I know a lot about people from Samoa, but I definitely don't think that that's an accurate representation of their culture.
Yeah, it's like having a scene in Africa, and they're like, look, they all live in huts. It's like, no, they're actually cities in Africa, and they have
there's like major metropolitan areas. There are places in Africa, like cities have like the internet. You know, it's just like you can't really, unless you're going to like really boonies parts of Africa, but there's boony parts of the United States where people live in fucking like RVs.
Yeah.
In
Detroit, they just fucking leave boats because it's like legal to just like drop your boat in the middle of Detroit, like on the street, if you don't want your boat anymore. Like,
I'm sorry, this is really fucked up to any listeners we have in Detroit, but I thought you were going to say in Detroit they just leave.
Jesus Christ. Just, my dad. But his family's still there.
No, I mean, like, people are moving out of Detroit. Although I think it's going to have a resurgence. I want to go someday.
Yeah,
but
arts. I think that, like, there's going to be a resurgence.
The arts and exactly.
Artsy
and
kids
like
are going to fucking wander over there, and then, like, other white people
stuff's
will
cheap
like
over there. Yeah. That's the thing about Detroit is that, like, like people, like, after, like, the manufacturing industry basically collapsed, like, a lot of people moved out of there, but people still stayed, and there's a ton of houses that are just vacant. And people are gonna like totally buy up and fix up and develop.
And then next thing you know, every corner there's gonna be a kale smoothie place. It's gonna be really just
delicious.
as terrible as it is now.
Yeah, it's gonna be just awful.
Just different.
It's gonna be like Austin. Yeah. But shit. So Ash, let's bring everything full circle. Let's talk about some. Let's give it Let's give Hobbs and Shaw 5 words. Let's give it a rating, and we'll give it a quick review and a recommendation.
Okay.
The 3 R's and 5 W's,
right.
if you will.
Jesus. All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Who do you want to go first for the 5 words?
You. I don't have my 5
My
words
dick
yet.
is so big. 5 words. Fucking,
Wow, that was really,
fucking owned, dude.
That was really fucking good. That was real. Damn it.
Yeah, this movie, I think actually had such big dick energy. Just very tight, super awesome. The fighting was rad and cool. And just those dudes were fucking roasting each other, man, and they didn't give a fuck.
Just the whole time.
The whole time.
They didn't.
And the sexual tension was palpable. And I think that Kevin Hart really ruined this movie because he broke up that moment where they're about to just join the Mile High
Just
Club.
kiss.
Yeah. Can you? I just want to talk about The Rock flying in coach is the most insane thing that's ever happened in any movie, and we have superhero movies, and
He looks so absurd. Yeah. He's just like bigger than the plane.
Yeah, like, do you think he goes to the bathroom in there? You think he can sit down on that toilet? Fuck no.
He can't. There's no way.
That scene was the one that was missing from the movie, is where the flight attendants have to pry him off the toilet because he got stuck. This movie was...
Oh my God, another scene that was missing.
Yeah, this movie was good. I liked this movie. It was a lot of fun. It had some huge glaring issues, but it was generally less dumb than I thought it was going to be, while being just as dumb as I thought it was going to be. I'm going to give this movie
good middle ground.
a 6.5 out of 10. I say, go see it. It was pretty fun. Don't expect to have your life changed, and don't enjoy it ironically, because I really can't handle our society. Avery.
That's what we do.
Yeah, I know. But can you imagine if society was just you and me?
It'd be pretty
It'd
bad.
be
You're
awful.
right. We would have so much less fun.
Like, how am I going to hate everyone if it's you and me? I like those people.
Excellent. So I want to start my little segment by saying for my 5 words, Hobbs and Shaw, get married. God damn, cutest couple of 2019. Just gonna say, if this movie ended with them with a passionate kiss between Hobbs and Shaw, this movie would have been so much better.
Oscar bait.
Just get rid of the girl. She's whatever. She doesn't need to be there. She just like a totally superfluous character. It was just like she was like there to like make sure everybody knew that Hobbs wasn't gay.
Yeah.
And it was like the dumbest thing. So, like, oh my God, just like jump the shark. Hobbs and Shaw are gay. It would have been so good. That would have been so good. I would be singing this movie's praises because that is the most ridiculous twist of events for like a movie like this.
We don't know yet, though. Maybe the third Hobbs and Shaw movie, they'll throw that twist in once everyone's super fucking invested.
Fucking awesome. Yeah, that would be fucking awesome. I would love the inclusivity, and also that's just a great twist.
Great twist.
It's just so great. Like completely subverts everybody's expectations. But I would fucking love that. That would be so excellent. But I will say this movie, just like you said, it was so dumb, but just dumb enough that I enjoyed it. I think that there was actually some like legitimately fun action scenes. There was almost no characterization. Don't go to this movie expecting to be blown away by any characters. But seeing The Rock's pretty cool. Seeing Jason Statham's pretty cool. Yeah, whatever. Go see it.
Yeah,
why not? I give this movie a 7 out of 10.
Oh, dang.
I had some fun watching this movie. Yeah.
Do you think it's gonna?
This was a fun one.
Think it's gonna cross over with the Stuber cinematic universe?
God, I hope so. I hope that I honestly, I really hope that things in Hollywood just get so desperate that this is just part of the MCU. I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, man, Hobbs and Shaw basically are just superheroes. Like, why are they just in the MCU? And I don't think it's too far fetched.
That's pretty good, dude. I think that every movie should be in the fucking like the King's Speech is in the MCU.
Right? Fuck it. Why not? There will be blood, probably in the MCU.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's definitely in the MCU.
All I'm going to say is that we are at the point now where there is like a seriously, seriously high chance that Star Wars is going to be in the MCU.
Oh, it already is.
Just going to say. Like there is a crossover comic, isn't there?
Well, Marvel makes the Star Wars comics.
Yeah, so it's going to happen. Yeah. It's inevitable that the two universes are going to cross over. So once that happens, it's just like it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, then we quit.
Then Alien will be in the MCU. It like doesn't even matter. It's just all going to be Marvel. All of it is. Just going to lump it all together. It's going to be disgusting.
Freddy versus
one gigantic. Right? Like Peter Griffin versus. What was the one that we said? It was like Peter Griffin versus like. versus Homer Simpson.
No, it was Peter Griffin versus Happy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, just an inevitability. It's going to happen. But I don't know. There's our theories on movies. That's Hobbs and Shaw for you guys. Thank you so much for listening. What are we watching next week?
Next week we're watching Scary Stories to watch in the dark or to read in the dark. What's it?
I think it was To Read in the Dark. I don't know. I think the movie's just called Scary Stories.
To Tell in the Dark.
I actually don't know. Oh, okay. I'm actually pretty excited. I'm also kind of scared to see this movie in the theater. I'm like looking forward to it.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be
I'm excited.
It's gonna be an intense one. So I think I've been looking forward to this movie pretty much all summer. So it's gonna be a fun one to talk about. But that's what we got going for you guys. Stick around for next week. We're gonna talk about some scary stories. The beginning of the Halloween season, so I like to say, always comes in the middle of August. Oh yeah. All right, but thank you guys so much for listening. We love you all so much. Goodbye.
I'm the Black Superman, baby.